Well, hi and welcome to one of my first videos on YouTube. Just to kick off, I'll be building this Artesania Stagecoach that I picked up recently. It's a kit I've been looking for many years. I've acquired it recently for building. So I thought you'd like to come along on this little exploration and have a look at it with me and enjoy the build. Just going through the components now, just all the small parts that come in the kit. It's got a lot to it. There's on the left there a whole bunch of nails and other bits and pieces. I'm assuming for the seats and everything. That's a little tiny brass handle and the little lanterns which have globes that go in them, made out of pot metal, I think, zinc plated maybe. And they have some little plastic glass lenses or inserts for the surrounds there as well to be glued in. Very nicely detailed. Finishes are very good. There's a small hubs for the wheels. Some of the lots and lots of drilling. And some of those holes are off-centered slightly and not quite square. So we'll have to plug some of them possibly later and re-drill them. There's another one, that one's quite off-center. This one also. And just next to them there on the right at the top there, there's some a collection of hinges and other small brass parts. Over on the right there, there's all the brass wire for the different components, railings, and gosh knows what else is in this model. There's the light globes for the lanterns. And then we've got some brass, very thin brass flat bar, and some rod, timber and brass rods and tubes. Typical Artesania quality. This little packet of foam and leather, two types of leather, one for the seats and one for the external covers for the cabin. And there's some brass etch parts there, the name of the Stagecoach and other bits and pieces. Nice big tube, plastic wrapped timber, different types of square set, rectangular, round, all different species. And this flat pack here is full of all the laser cut components. So on the left hand side there you've got the wheels. I'll turn it over here and cut it out. Very nicely packaged too. Very timber's in very good condition. Nothing's split or broken. So there's your wheel fellows there on the left, other bits and pieces. And you can see the different coloured species of timber, different components of the build. These beautiful little thin veneer pieces, quite thin, quite a lot of them too. I was curious to see what thickness they were, so I had to run a veneer over them to get an idea. They're all pretty much the same, around about 0.3 of a millimetre, 0.43. Get a bit carried away here to measure them all. I think it'll give you a good idea what's contained in the kit if you're looking at building it yourself. Highly recommended. There are other brands of Stagecoaches, but this is the one I chose. Maybe later in time I'll have a look at some others. There's a bit of ply, which is quite pliable, flexible for the surround of the Stagecoach cabin. A little leaflet there showing you all the laser etched parts that are contained in this package here. That's the cabin sides and the cabin top and bottom. One of the parts, I think it's the top's coming out, so I decided to just cut that away so it didn't split. It's already started to split very slightly on the left hand side there. I just cut it out and pop it out so it doesn't get any worse. Pop that little piece off and I'll keep that aside and I'll glue that on it. Nicely laser etched, it's very fine, not much sanding to be done on the components before assembly. So this is the contents of the leather components, and the brass etched parts. I just thought I'd get you in and have a closer look at some of these components. I'll just pop the brass etch aside. So there's two types of I'm assuming leather or faux leather. There's the very thick or thicker for the external components and covers on the coach. And then you've got your thinner coloured, like a dark brown leather for the seats, etc. Luggage and other bits and pieces. Then you've got this bit of foam for the padding in the seats. A little packet of brass etched components, quite thin, nicely detailed too. Little straps and the lettering for the Stagecoach. Little connection pieces for the undercarriage. And some more brass flat bar. So this is a timber bundle. I thought I'd pop this open as well and get you a closer look at what's encompassed in amongst this lot. Again, it's very finely finished, minimal sanding required once you got, but obviously there's got to be a lot of shaping and whatnot as you progress to put the model together. So there's various rectangular pieces, lighter coloured ones. Very thin pieces in amongst these. There's a bit of square bar. Thought I'd just pop this open a little bit further so you could see the dimensions of some of these very fine pieces of timber in here. Just beautiful. So this is the package that contains the instruction manual and a full-size plan of the Stagecoach and the various components. So we'll have a look at the manual. I won't go into detail on that. We'll look at that later. But this plan, full-size image is nice to give you a visual layout of where they expect the components to be. So obviously a elevation, a plan view there from the top, and there's an underside view there, and all the numbered components that relate to the same areas within the manual when you're assembling it. it's such a large piece of paper, I couldn't get it all in the video in one go, so I'll just grab the camera here and just do a pan around, give you a little bit more detail of what you're expected to put together here. Let me turn it over here and get the other side of the big piece of paper here with the camera and just pan around this, get you some more views. That's the back and the front. That's the coach, all the components. And then you've got full-size imagery here of the wheels, back and the smaller ones for the front. Fine detail there. Help you lay it out. Gee, I couldn't do the unboxing without having to go through the manual also. I actually went through every single page of this instruction manual in the video, but I'll spare you the expense of having to sit through that. It is quite detailed, and probably a good idea to, if you've got the capability to scan the manual as a PDF or something similar and store it on your computer, if you can have a computer nearby so you can zoom in, or use it on your phone or an iPad or some other similar device, because some of it is quite, as you can see, the text is quite small, a bit hard to read, but you know, it's fairly easy to follow. It's just read through it a few times, mock it up on the bench before you glue it together. Just make sure you know where the bits are going and progress from there. Anyway, I might fast forward through the rest of this manual just to get through, show you a bit more of the detail of what's in there. There's a couple little snapshots I took from the manual. I'll just sort of pop in here for you to have a look. So anyway, follow along. This is just video one. I'll have some more videos coming up shortly of starting out building the wheels. And welcome, and you come along with me and enjoy.